In this tutorial, we will build an authentication system using Deno. Before we start building the app, I would like to remind you that this video is meant to be combined with other videos. So if you want to use Deno with Angular, React, Next.js, Vue, Nuxt.js or Svelte, I provided some links in the description of this video. Also make sure to check scalablescripts.com. Now let's start building the app. Now let's create our Deno app. So go to deno.land and here is the main page for Deno. Install Deno using these commands. I already did it. And go to getting started. So these commands, we have two options here. The first one is to run a command. I will copy the URL first and I will paste it to a new tab. And as we can see, this is just a console log, welcome to Deno. So we can execute files directly from URLs. So I will copy this. And in my IDE here, I have an empty folder. We can run this command. And as we can see, welcome to Deno here. So the console log has run. Not sure why we see a different message here, but they should be maybe different versions. Also, we can use a more complex one. So I'll copy this code and I'll create here a TypeScript file app.ts. So in Deno we can write directly TypeScript files. So I'll paste this code now and we are having an error about the URL. So I'll enable Deno in my project. And here I'm having an error because this URL has not been cached on my machine. But if I run Deno right now, if I run this app.ts, Deno, run app.ts, it will download the URL, but still we have an error here because Deno is secure by default. So this will need this flag, which is allow net. So to run this app, we have to run here Deno allow net app.ts. So did I run it? I forgot to run. And as we can see now, the package is running and we can go to localhost port 8000 where it says hello world. So this is our first Deno app, and also Deno supports top level awaits. Usually in JavaScript we have to create an async function to await something, but here we can do it directly. Now let's go back and let's create our authentication app. So go to third-party modules and here search for Auth framework. So it should be, where is it? This one. And we will use this package. So I'll copy this code right now and I will paste it here. So this will look different. And now we need to run it because the URL has to be downloaded. Now it's currently running because we haven't console log anything. If we still go to the localhost port 8000, it says hello world. We added an exclamation point in the end. So this is working fine. Now I will change the structure of the folder. So I will add the source directory. And inside I will add the TypeScript file routes file. So we'll create a routes file and I will create a controller file. So controller. So inside the controller I will export a function. So export, I will call it register. And for the moment we'll we will have as a parameter, I forgot const here, we'll have the context. So I will go to the app.ts, I'll copy this import, go to the controller, and here instead of application I'll add the router context, and this will be a type of router context here. What I want to do here is I want to get the response, and here we'll say response.body is equal to register, and I want to add this register to the routes. So I have copied already the URL, so here let's get the router from awk, and we'll create the router, new router, and we'll say that the router post to API/register will have the function that we just created in the controller. So I'll do it directly, register. My IDE already helps me, so you have to import register from the controller.ts. So we added this route, and now we will just export the router. And we have to import it to our app.ts. So here we'll import the source to the source folder routes. So we'll import the router. And instead of this, we will use router.routes. And we have to use also app use router allowed methods, which is post, get, etc. So now this structure changes a little bit. Now let's test this register function. To test it, make sure to install Postman. I already did it, so I open Postman now, and we want to send a post request to HTTP port, so localhost port 8000/API/register. Send a request. Hello world. I probably forgot to run the server again. And as we can see, register here. So now we added this function, and before adding other things, I will go to deno.land, and we need to install another package, which is Denon. So we don't want to restart the server every time we make changes. Denon can do that for us. So first, to install it, we have to use this command. I already did it, but I will install it again. In case you are having this error, go again to Denon and click denon.ts, copy the URL here, and the installation will change the URL to this the latest version. And now it's working correctly. Now let's add Denon to our path, so we have to do it like this. And this is Denon, so I already run Denon here. And what do we want to do right now is run this command denon init. I will copy it and run it. Now we have a scripts.json file, so we have some commands here. This start command means that we will run deno run app.ts, and this is just a description here. So let's run denon start, and we have an error because we have to add the allow net flag. To do it in Denon is really simple. We'll add here allow, and we will add an array, and we want to add net here. So we can start here, Denon start, and as we can see, it's starting automatically. So this is better than adding all the flags with this command. And once we make a change, it will refresh it. So as we can see, it does automatically change. So I will just, for testing purposes, change here. If I save that and I send the request, we can see changed here because Deno is waiting for changes. Now we added Denon, we have the register function, and what is missing is to connect with the database. To connect with the database, let's go to another package. So go to third-party modules, and we will go here to MongoDB. So this is the MongoDB driver for Denon. So I will create here a directory usually, but I will create a file. So these files that I created should be inside folders, but I will keep it shorter because, or I will create here a folder, schemas, and inside I will create a user schema. So we have an interface here for a user schema. I'll paste it here. So this is the name, and we need the email, and this is the ID. So this is the user schema that we want, and the connection with the database. So I will create another directory here, which is database. Let's add the connection .ts, and this is the connection that we want. So I'll copy this, paste it here, and we have the client. We connected with the client, and what is waiting. So I'll export also this DB variable. So export default, not default, but const DB, and the database I'll call it Deno auth, like this. Let's remove this because we don't need it. And this database, we will use it like this with the user schema, and we will use it in the controller here. So I'll get it here on top. Users is equal. So let's import the DB from the connection and the user schema. So why it is not importing? Not sure. So let's import the user schema. Now it's working, and with this we can use it directly like this. So user find, etc. So we have a lot of functionality which we will create it now. So let's register a user. So we'll send a request here. So this has also request property, the router context, and the request will have the data in the body. So we will get the request is equal to await. So this is an async function. Await request dot body dot value, like this. So this is a body actually, and this body will have the name, the email, and the password. So I will deconstruct it to name, email, and password. And with these values, we want to create our user. So if we go here, we can see here insert one. So I'll copy this, or I will do it directly. We don't need anything else. So wait, users, insert one, and we will pass here the name, the email, and the password. We need to hash it. To hash the password, we need to use another package. So I will open a new tab here and I will search for bcrypt. And we need to import it. So let's import it like this. And bcrypt has been imported, and now we need to hash the password, and we have to use it like this. So the password is equal to, not like this, bcrypt hash. So I forgot to wait here, and we need to pass our password inside, and that's it. Still this won't work because we will have an error here, and this will require to add another flag. So go to scripts.json, and here we'll add another flag which is unstable to true. So this will restart the server, and now everything is working. So this flag is needed in order to run bcrypt, and now we will return the response. So let's open Mongo, and here we have the ID of the user that we just created. So we'll get the ID of the user, and in the response body we want to return the actual user. So we have to use find one here like this with the ID there. So I will do it like this. Now let's see. Let's insert a user. So this, in the register function, we have to send a JSON with the name a, email a@a.com, and the password a. Send a request, and as we can see, we returned a user. So this is the ID, name, email. So we registered successfully the user. Now let's add the login function. So we will add here export constant login is equal to an async function. This will have also a request and a response. And let's add it also to the routes. So I'll duplicate this, and the post is to login now, and the function is login. So we added a new route. Now what do we want to do? First, let's get the body. So we'll get everything except for the name here. We'll send an email and the password. And now based on the email, we want to find the user. So we'll use this function. We'll get the user, which is equal to wait find one by email. Now let's return, so response that body is equal to the user. I'm not sure what it returns when it doesn't find the user. So let's send a post request to login, and in the body we'll send a JSON with the email, which is a@a.com, and the password should be a. This should work, so we get the user. How about we send the wrong email? So this returns null. So we will make the condition here: if the user is not set, then the response.body is equal to 404. Response.body is equal to message user not found. And we have to return here because we will override it if we go here. So like this will return a better message. So user not found. And now if we go here, it means that we successfully got the user. And now we have to check if the password is the correct password. So I will make a condition here: if !wait bcrypt verify or compare. So we have compare here. We have to compare our password with the user password, like this. If the password is not correct, then we will return the same thing. The response.body is 401 and the message is incorrect password. So let's see this. So this is the correct password. Let's put the incorrect password. So this is also the incorrect email. Let's change the email to correct. So we have incorrect password. If we put the right password, then we get the user. Now we passed all the validations, and now we have to create a JWT token. To create a JWT token, we have to use another package. So I will go here to third-party models, and I will go to the JWT. So this is a JWT for Deno, and to create it, we have to use it like this. We have the create function. So let's import this. I'll import it here on top. The version, I'll get the latest version. So if I do it like this, is the latest version. Now we have to use the create function, and to use it we have to do it like this. So the JWT is equal to await create. The algorithm is this algorithm. The type is JWT. This foobar is the data that we want to send, and we want to send the ID of the user. So ID is the user.id, like this. This is the data that we want to send, and this secret is a secret that it will hash this JWT. Usually we have to store it to an env file, but I will keep it like this. And we got the JWT. Let's return it to see how it looks like. So let's send a request. Do we have a problem? So we have a problem. Not sure why it's taking the version 1.7 where we have the version 2.2 here. So this mod, let's go to the mod file, and I will copy the URL here. And I will save it. It will download it, and now it should work. So let's send the request again, and this is a JWT. So we successfully generated the JWT token. Now we have to set this JWT to the cookies. So this router context will have also an option for the cookies, and to set a JWT cookie, we have to use it like this: cookies set. We need the name of the cookie, which is JWT, the value, which is this token, and we need to add another option, which is HTTP only to true. This HTTP only flag is really important because we don't want the frontend to access this cookie. So with this, it means that the cookie is protected. And the response body now will be just message success. We don't want to return the cookie so the front end can use it. So this is the only way that we should return it. Now we don't have a cookie anymore. Let's send a request. We return message success and the cookie is presented here. So it is also HTTP only. Now we need another configuration because this is not enough. Let's go to app.ts and here we need to add another package. So let's go to the third-party modules and we need awk course. So we need this course middleware. Not sure why the README doesn't show anything, but let's go to mod here, copy the URL, and we need to import here. Import from this URL, we need to import awk course. And before everything, we have to use it. App use awk course. And what is important is to use the credentials to true. So the cookie that we will send to the frontend needs to have the credentials true. Otherwise, the frontend won't get this cookie. So this is this should be added in order to authenticate. And also we need another variable, which is the origin. So here I will put this URL. So this is localhost with a port 3000, 4200 and 8080. So this is a port for the front ends. You don't need to put all of these ports. Maybe you need to put the port for your front end, but I will put all of them. With this, the login works successfully. And now let's get the authenticated user. Export const, I'll call this function me, because I don't want to confuse it with the users. So async, and we want to get the request, response, and the cookies. We don't have a request actually. We just need the response and the cookies. So we have the cookies, we have the JWT, and we want to verify the JWT. So we have to go back now to the JWT, and we have to get the verify part, verify, and we have to use it like this. So I will copy this part here, except for the JWT we have to get it from the cookies. So cookies get JWT. Actually I will get it like this. So const cookies get JWT, and I will pass it here. Now it's complaining because there is a possibility that can be undefined, so I will add here, in case if it is undefined, we'll return empty here. So if a JWT is not set, so if it is empty, we will return a message that is unauthenticated. So we will return it like this: 401 unauthenticated. So that's it for the JWT. Here we'll get the payload, but we have to verify it first. So this can be false, so I will copy this again, and if the payload is not correct, we will return the same message. if it passes this part, then it means that we successfully verified the JWT, and we got this payload that we set here, and now we can find our user. So I will do it like this. So response body is equal to await user find one with the ID is equal to payload ID, like this. Now let's get the authenticated user. So let's copy this URL, open it here, user, and this is a GET request. I forgot to add this to the routes. So this is a GET request to I will not add the router post every time actually. This is a better way. Like this. So now the GET request will go to the user and we'll call the me function. Don't forget also to import them. Now when we send the request here, it will preserve also the cookies. So the cookies will be preserved between the tabs. Send the request and we get 404 not found. This is because we have to use ID differently. So we have to use this JSON object. So I will import the URL again here on top. I will not get the Mongo client, I will just get JSON, and this, I will copy this. Paste it here, and I will replace this string with this payload ID, like this. So with this is the user that is retrieved. So we successfully got the authenticated user. Still, I don't like to return the password, so the password should be hidden. So in this case, I will deconstruct this with the password and the response or the result. How do I call it? User data is equal to this, and we will return the user data. So we need everything except for the password. So this will return this response, and right now we don't have the password, so it should be like this. We can do this the same, so I'll copy this with the register function, and I will do it like this. And the problem now here is that the password is the same, so here we can do it differently, and we can delete user.password, and we will return the user. So these are two ways that we can remove the password. So if we try to register with another user, this time we won't get the password. So we got the data except for the password. Now we got the logged in user. Let's add the last function, which is logout. Export const logout. And we want to get the response as a cookies here. And I will add it to the routes also. This is a post request to API/logout. And this is the logout function. Now let's go and get the cookie. Actually, we want to remove the cookie and to remove it we simply use cookies delete JWT. That's it. And the response.body will be success. This is our logout function. We simply remove the cookie here. So let's send a request to the logout. This will be a post request, and now we got a cookie here and we get the authenticated user. Let's send a post request and we get message success and we don't have a cookie. If we send the request again here, we get unauthenticated because we don't have a cookie. So we can log in again here and get the authenticated user. So this was the authentication using Deno. I hope you liked this tutorial, and if you did, please share and subscribe. Thank you.